Has Kevin Walters been the most underrated great in rugby league? A six-time premiership winner, state of origin hero, and now the man who dragged the Broncos out of their darkest days? Yet somehow, he's never quite been taken seriously. G'day legends, welcome back to the OldSkool Broncos Podcast, where we talk footy like fans, not journalists. No agendas, no fluff, just a good old-fashioned Broncos chat. Kevin Walters has always been a bit of a larrikin, whether he was playing, coaching, or spinning yarns as a commentator. From his goofy charm on the Queensland Footy Show to his number one hit, Hey Hey We're the Broncos, Kev has been the bloke who never took himself too seriously. And that's exactly why so many fans love him. But has that same personality been a double-edged sword? Has the knockabout funny guy image made people undervalue his footy brain, his resilience, and what he's actually done for the game? Let's break it down. As a player, Kevvie's record is elite. He played 20 origins for Queensland, 11 tests for Australia, won 6 premierships, 5 with the Broncos and 1 with the Raiders. But even with those stats, he was regularly overlooked or undervalued. Let's go back to '94. Queensland chose to play Julian O'Neill, Kevvie's Broncos teammate, out of position at 5'8", rather than pairing Kevvie with Alfie. On Kangaroo tours, he wasn't the face of the campaign. He was leading the Emus, the reserves, keeping spirits high off of the field. And in 1993, after helping steer the Broncos to another premiership, all the way back from 5th, the Clive Churchill Medal went to Brad Mackay from the losing team, when Kevvie was clearly one of the best on the paddock. Kev was the guy you'd forget until you needed him. He was never the poster boy, but he was always there when it mattered. Some say it's the old batting after Bradman curse, but in this case, following Wally Lewis in the 6 jersey. Others say it's because he was too humble, too selfless, too much of a team man. Alf got the accolades and Kev was happy to let him take them. As a coach, it's been a similar story. Kev did the hard yards, assisting under Wayne Bennett, then Craig Bellamy, then Mal Meninga. Coached in the Q Cup, he coached in the Super League. But NRL head coaching gigs? Nothing. Eventually, he was handed the Queensland job, but again, only after others passed. He was the Stephen Bradbury pick, but he made it count. 2 Origin Series wins, 2 losses, but more importantly, he was the man who transitioned Queensland out of the Big Four era, Slater, Cronk, Smith, Thurston, and into the new generation. He blooded Munster, Holmes, Hunt, and Moore. And when the players misbehaved, he benched them. Huge calls, especially for a rookie coach. But he did it, and he still didn't get the credit. When Wayne Bennett left the Broncos for the second time, many thought it was Kev's turn then. But again, the club chose not to hand him the keys. Instead, they went for Seibold, polished, prepared, and packing a PowerPoint. That era ended in disaster with the COVID chaos. A wooden spoon, and finally, Seibold was gone and Kevvie was appointed. But it wasn't a triumphant homecoming. He wasn't backed with open arms. He even had to buy his own polo shirt, organise his own media presser. The board handed him a broom and told him to clean up the mess. And he did it. He recruited Adam Reynolds, reset the culture, slowly rebuilt the squad, and in 2023, they were back. They were only a few minutes away from winning a premiership. 2024 was a roller coaster. Injuries hit hard, Origin drained the squad, the Vegas trip, the weight of expectation, grand final hangover, it never quite clicked. And as results dipped, so did support. The board decided a change was needed and Michael Maguire was announced for 2025. Some said Kev had taken the team as far as he could. Others reckon he was pushed. Hung out to dry by a club that forgot how far he had brought them. Kev isn't your clipboard coach. He's not going to break down 12 phases of block plays with a laser pointer. Like Bennett, like Meninga, and like Ricky Stewart, he's a man manager. He gets players up. He builds belief. He brings the team together. That works when you've got the cattle, when you've got the trust. But in today's game, with analysts, pressure, and brutal media, the man manager has to fight harder to prove they belong. And now here we are in 2025, and Kev's finally been given the Australian coaching job. Or has he? Because he's only been appointed for 3 games in November. And again, it wasn't a celebration, it wasn't a coronation, it was default mode. Freddie Fittler was ruled out, no one else fit the criteria, so Kevvie it is. The guy with 11 tests as a player, 2 Origin Series wins, and a recent NRL Grand Final appearance gets a 3-game trial? Why? Is it because Kev wanted to keep his options open in case an NRL job became available next year? Or is it, once again, the case of the jokester not being taken seriously? You've got to wonder, if his name was Craig or Trent or Mal, would it still be a 3-game gig? Or would they have locked him in for the long haul? So let's bring it all together. Kevin Walters, 6 premierships, 20 Origins, 11 tests, a Broncos rebuild, and now coaching the Kangaroos, sort of. And yet still treated like the understudy, the backup, the feel-good story, the larrikin you let in when all the serious guys say no? But maybe that's why Kev's legacy will last, because when others built their profiles, he built teams. Kevin Walters might never get the credit he deserves. But for those of us that have watched it all unfold, the wins, the knockbacks, the rebuilds, we know he's a legend, a fighter, and one of the most underrated champions rugby league has ever seen. So that's it for today. Do you think Kev's been underrated or rated just right? Let me know in the comments or on the socials. And as always, like, subscribe, share, and support fan-made footy content for real fans. This is the Old School Broncos Podcast. Let's go, Broncos.
Yeah! Broncos! Hey! Broncos!